Definition of production. Production means the process of using the factor of production to produce goods and service. Production is the process of transforming inputs into output. Production function. A production is a statement of the functional relationship between inputs and outputs, where it shows the maximum output that can be produced with given input. Where Q is output, K is capital, L is labor. Factors of production. First, land. Second, labor. Third, capital. Fourth, entrepreneur. The first one is land. Refers to the natural resource. Activities such as farming, planting, fishing. Payment for the use of land is rent. Number 2 is labor. Involve physical skill and mental skill in producing goods. Quantity is determined by size of population, age distribution. Quality is determined by level of education training. Payment for the use of labor is wage. 3 is capital. Tools and equipment used in producing capital or consumer goods. Capital goods is an investment that facilitates the production of consumer goods. Payment for the use of capital is interest. Number 4 is entrepreneur. A person who takes the initiative to combine all the resources, makes the decision on what, how, and for whom to produce, take the risk to bear all things. Payment to the entrepreneur is profit. Types of input. Fixed input and variable input. Fixed input. Quantity does not change according to the amount of output such as land, capital. Variable input. Quantity change according to the amount of output, example labor. Short run and long run. Short run. A production period in which some inputs are variable and at least one input is fixed. Long run. A production period in which all the inputs are variable.
Assalamualaikum, my name is ALEIF IMAN from class AC110J, and today I will be presenting Law of Diminishing Returns. The Law of Diminishing Returns states that in the short run, when variable factors of production, for example labor, are added to a stock of fixed factors of production, for example land and capital, the marginal product will initially rise and then fall. Let's say you start a business, baking breads, for example. You have a fixed capital, like 2 ovens and a fixed amount of land. There is enough workspace for 2 workers. So, your business is in the short run, but the business is employing more and more workers to bake more bread. The equation of marginal product is the change in total product divided by the change in quantity of workers or labor. The formula of average product is total product over quantity of workers. When we employ our first few workers, we can see that the marginal product is rising. Each worker the business is hiring is bringing in more and more input than before. More cakes are baked than the additional worker before. But then when we employ the third worker, the marginal product is beginning to fall from 6 to 10 to 8, 4 until -2. The reason for this is because the law of marginal return sets in when we employ the third worker. In stage 1, when we employ our first 2 workers, the marginal product keeps increasing. This is because labor productivity is increasing. One of the reasons for this is because there is underutilization of a fixed factor of production. For example, there are excess ovens. Let's say there are 2 ovens for this business. The first worker can use only 1 of them. When we employ the second worker, he could also use the other oven. Basically, there are 2 workers and both of them are able to use the 2 ovens available for this business. But when we start hiring the 3rd worker, labor productivity decreases. This is because there aren't enough fixed factors of production to take more than 2 workers. There aren't enough ovens and workspace. As a result, the workers start getting in the way of each other and affect each other's output, and labor productivity eventually falls. The total product increases but at a slower rate before it starts to fall when the business employs worker number 7. The total product will be maximized when marginal product is 0. When the marginal product is negative, the total product starts to fall. If marginal product is positive, then the next workers that are employed will continue bringing more output, and as a result, the total product will keep rising. Therefore, the only time the total product is at its maximum point is when there is no more marginal product. MP equals to 0.
My name is Sophia. Today I want to present about the law of return to scale. LRAC is U-shaped due to the law of return to scale. As firm expand its scale of production, at first, its LRAC will decrease at the minimum of point and then will increase. First one is economies of scale. An increase in scale of operation leads to a decrease in average cost per unit produced. The next one is constant return to scale. An increase in scale of operation leads to no change in average cost. The last one is diseconomies of scale. An increase in scale of operation leads to an increase in average cost per unit produced. Economies of scale. Economies of scale is the advantage of large scale of production. The economies of scale can be divided into 2 types: internal economies and external economies of scale. Internal factors. Labor's economy. The labor economies refer to the specialization of labor and allow the workers to concentrate and specialize in jobs that they are more capable. For example, a worker just have to concentrate in one task, so they will become expert and can produce more input. It is because it will become more efficient and productive than the same worker that have to doing several tasks. So the production will increase and the cost of production will decrease. Next, marketing economies. The marketing economies is the economies of buying and selling in bulk. Financial economies. Financial position where a large firm can raise capital more easily than a small firm. For example, large firms easily get loan with a lower interest rate and longer maturity period. The next one is administrative economies. Administrative economies also the large firm can set up different departments according to their needs, such as sales department, personnel department, quality control department, and others. Last but not least is risk-bearing economies. Risk-bearing economies is a large firm producing multiple products. Next, external factors. First of all is economies of concentration. Economies of concentration refer to the concentration of firms in one area. For example, if the firm located in Penang near the port, they can reduce the cost of production. Second, supply skilled workers. Supply of skilled workers, the pool of labor wishes for jobs. Lastly, economies of information. To expose consumers to the new product firm in the industry will discuss and get information between companies. There are 5 internal factors of these economies of scale. The first one is management difficulties. Management problem to controlling and coordinating when there is a mass production. If a firm needs large production, labor need to increase and cost of production will be increased. Low morale. Low morale is routine of work for these laborers will causing laborers lost interest in work because it was routine. Social problems. The social problem which is one of its natural disaster. If this problem exists, it will cause tax, fines, and traffic congestion increasing. The last one is wages differential. Wages differential between industry. When a firm needs increase in labor, the wages for labor need to increase to attract new labor to work with them.
Hello, my name is IZZATI Binti MALEK and my matrix number is 2020870546.
Next topic is types of costs. There are 2 types of costs, which is TFC, short for total fixed cost, and TVC, total variable cost. Fixed cost is costs that don't change with the amount produced, while variable cost is costs that do change with the amount produced. For example, the more output we produce, the more resources we need. We can also look at this chart. All the total variable costs are vary, which is 0, 10, 15, and 22, while the costs in total fixed costs are all the same. This is because the costs don't change. Then there is TC, which is total cost. Total cost is the amount of adding total fixed costs with total variable costs. For example, we can look at this schedule. We can see that to get total cost, we need to add total variable cost with total fixed cost. To get the total cost of two outputs, we add 15 and 10, and then we got 25. Then there is MC, which is marginal cost. Marginal cost means an additional cost of producing one more output. To get marginal cost, we need to divide change in total cost with change in output. We can also look at the schedule. There is no marginal cost for output 0 because the output is 0, while the others can be divided with change in total cost and change in output. Next will be the relationship between TC, TFC, and TVC. The relationship is about the cost per unit cost. The first one will be average variable cost, AVC, which is total variable cost per quantity. The second one is average fixed cost, AFC, which is total fixed cost per quantity. And the last one is average cost, AC, which is AFC plus AVC or total cost per quantity. For example, we can look at the schedule. The average variable cost of output 1 is 10, which is by dividing total variable cost, that is 10, with the output or quantity, which is 1, and get 10. And to get the average fixed cost of output 2, we divided the total fixed cost of 10 with the output, which is 2, and got 5. And for average cost of output 3, we divided the total cost, which is 32, with output 3 and got 1066. The other way to get AC is by adding AVC with AFC. Now we are going to talk about the relationship between AC, AVC, AFC, and MC. First will be AFC. AFC will get smaller because an amount that is already fixed will be divided with larger and larger quantity. The second one will be AVC. AVC will always goes down and up and hits the marginal cost at AVC minimum point. The third one is AC. AC will also goes down and up and hits marginal cost but at AC minimum point. Lastly will be MC. MC will also goes down and up but by the law of diminishing marginal returns. This is a graph example of the relationship between AC, AVC, AFC, and MC. AFC is decreasing as output increases due to the fixed amount of cost, while AVC is U-shaped due to the law of diminishing marginal returns. AC is also U-shaped because it consists of AFC and AVC. The distance between AC and AVC becomes closer as output increases due to the decreasing AFC. MC is U-shaped and cuts through the minimum point of AVC and AC.